Hello everyone, so this game came out on 27th of July 2010. That is almost 14 years ago. I remember being really impressed with the gameplay trailers and was pretty hyped for its release. The box design and art were spot on. I really regret not buying the expansions on physical discs. These are regular editions, by the way, and they look awesome. Today you usually get just the box and the disc. I wish they did the similar thing with Diablo 2 Resurrected. That was a really great remake. Anyway, this is going to be my next playthrough. I never played it, believe it or not, so I am going blind into this. This video includes demos from back in the day. I hope you like them. As always, thank you for watching and hopefully see you in the next video.
Entaro Adun, Commander. Our forward base has been established. The foolish Terrans continue to bring their forces to this platform. They will serve only to feed the Zerg swarm if we do not destroy them quickly.
ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to show you a demo of StarCraft II. Before we begin today, I'd like to remind everybody this is a demo. This is still work in progress. We've got a lot of balance work ahead of us. Nothing you're going to see here today is final. We're going to begin today with these Protoss Zealots. This is a classic unit from the original StarCraft. You can see they're still armed with their powerful side blades, and they're still protected by a very tough personal body shield.
By your will,
In StarCraft II, the Zealots also have a special charge ability. This allows the Zealot to close quickly with his enemies. The Zealot's charge makes him extremely dangerous against ranged defenders like these Marines.
Attention, Protoss. This is Admiral Reveal of the Terran Dominion. You will withdraw immediately, or be annihilated.
Terrans are bringing in their siege tanks. This is a classic unit from the original StarCraft, and they're in a classic Terran position, using that high ground against us. They're shelling our Zealots from range, forcing our Zealots to go the long way around, and you can see our infantry are just taking a pounding as they try to approach this Terran position. They just can't withstand all of that heavy Terran firepower. In order to attack a Terran position like this, that's so well defended, we're going to need to bring in another new Protoss weapon of war. After the destruction of Ire and the events of Brood War, the Protoss have been forced to adapt. They created these. These are the Immortals. They have a special type of Protoss shield. It's a hardened shield that activates only when the Immortal is struck by a very powerful attack. You can see the hardened shields are activating now, and they're absorbing most of this Terran fire. This makes the Immortal the perfect choice to assault this kind of defended Terran position.
Reapers, move it! Slaughter 'em, boys!
The Terrans are sending in their Reapers. This infantry unit is armed with 2 pistols and uses a jump pack to avoid different types of terrain. Their small pistols don't activate the hardened shields of the Immortals. This makes the Reaper the perfect choice for countering these powerful Protoss troops. This kind of fast, bloody raid is something the Reapers really excel at. You can see how powerful they can really be hunting down slow-moving units on the field of battle. In addition, the Reapers can use their jump packs to be very effective base raiders. Once enemy forces are inside a Protoss base, one of the first things we'll often go for is our pylons. And with our pylon down, our photon cannons go offline, making us vulnerable to continued attack. Fortunately, we have some new weapons. The Protoss can use the phase prism to create a power field anywhere they wish. You can see with our photon cannons back online, these Reapers have no choice but to run for cover. In addition to a number of new units, the Protoss also have access to some new mechanics. Protoss can use Warp-In to teleport units anywhere they want into pylon power. You can see here we've created some Stalkers. This is a new type of specialist Protoss Dark Dragoon. It's not very tough, but it does have a powerful weapon. In addition, it has a special blink ability that allows it to teleport a short distance anywhere it can see. This allows the Stalker to avoid certain types of obstacles. And it also makes the Stalker very potent at chasing down fleeing enemy forces.
Zerg forces detected. Multiple contacts closing in on our position.
The Zerg have arrived sooner than we expected. You can see they're using their Nidus worms here to create a beachhead, sending Zerglings against us. You'll also notice that we're using our Stalkers here to blink away from these Zerglings. This is an example of how a skilled player can use the Stalker's blink ability to great advantage. Unfortunately, there's simply too many Zerglings for our Stalkers to survive. In order to deal with a Zerg infestation of this magnitude, we're going to need to bring in some additional reinforcements. Now, we've shown you how you can use the phase prisms to create a power field anywhere you wish, as well as warp in. These two mechanics can be used together to create a large army anywhere on the battlefield.
We are the blades of ire.
As you can see, StarCraft is still a game where large armies battle against large armies. Our upgraded Zealots can hold the line here for a short time, but in order to really survive against this many Zerglings, we're going to need to bring in some additional firepower. These are the Colossus. They're powerful robotic units that can use their long legs to step up and down cliffs. In addition, they have a powerful beam that sweeps backwards and forwards, able to do large amounts of damage to small, swarming units like these Zerglings. This makes the Colossus the ideal support unit for this group of Zealots.
We are the blades of ire.
Now, while the Protoss have developed many new weapons, the Zerg have continued to evolve. These Zerglings are mutating into banelings. These small, suicidal creatures are filled with explosive chemicals and corrosive acids. Makes the banelings very potent against Zealots that have no defense, and even dangerous against the mighty Colossus. You can see our last Colossus here is forced to run, try to get to high ground in order to survive. The Colossus is using our new IK system to step up and down this cliff. It's just one example of the new types of technologies we're adding to StarCraft II to make the game more dynamic. Now, while the Colossus is very dangerous against ground targets, it's much more vulnerable to an air counterattack. This swarm of Mutalisks will quickly destroy our Colossus and then continue on to attack our base. We'll need to bring in some Phoenix. This is a new Protoss air superiority fighter. It has a special overload ability that allows it to fire its weapon at all nearby enemy forces. Unfortunately, after it overloads, the Phoenix goes offline for a short time. It can't move, it can't fight, and it's helpless against a counterattack. In the hands of a skilled player, the Phoenix can be extremely deadly. If you overload at the right time against the right enemies, you may destroy them all, and there will be no one left to take advantage of your temporary weakness.
Time for battle. Understood.
We've done a lot of work on our terrain here in StarCraft II. We've got our space platform here, and you can see we've also got a lot of great doodads in this environment, some wonderful texture work. You notice we've got a planet there and our deep sky in the background. There's some asteroids floating in the distance. This is just one example of the types of environments we want to create for StarCraft II.
For honor, on the wings of justice.
While the Phoenix are very powerful against small flyers like Mutalisks, they're much more vulnerable to heavily armed and armored targets like these battlecruisers. They just don't have the firepower to cut through that thick Terran armor. In order to deal with a battlecruiser squadron of this size, we'll need to bring in our warp rays. The warp ray is a specialist Protoss flyer that does additional damage the longer it fires at a single target. This makes the warp ray very potent against heavily armored targets. The same thing that makes the warp ray powerful against battlecruisers also makes it very powerful against enemy structures. You can see this barracks is taking loads of damage and will try to lift off to escape, but it's just not fast enough to get away from the warp ray.
All right, you alien freaks. You made your choice. Now you're gonna pay the price.
The warp rays are very vulnerable to small units. You can see these Marines are coming in, and the warp ray is just wasting way too much of his damage firing at a single target. Makes the Marines a strong counter for the warp ray. You notice our physics system is in action there. As these warp rays die, their pieces fall down and slide down the ramp a little bit. It's just another example of the types of technologies we're adding to StarCraft II. Now, with our warp rays destroyed, it looks like the Terrans are going to fortify their position here against us. As we approach the end of our demo here today, there is one last unit we'd like to show you.
Now our foes will feel the power of the Protoss.
This is the Protoss mothership. It is the ultimate weapon of war in the Protoss arsenal. You are only allowed a single mothership at one time. And each mothership costs a significant number of resources to bring to the field of battle. The mothership has several special abilities that can really make her worth the expense. First of these is the time bomb. This is a special ability that slows down all enemy movement inside the field. You can actually see the missiles slowing down as they try to strike the mothership and stopping just before they strike home. When the field goes off, the missiles fall harmlessly to the ground. This makes the mothership extremely potent against fixed base defenses like these missile turrets. In addition to her time bomb ability, the mothership also has a special attack that she can employ against ground targets. This is the Planet Cracker. Ordinarily, this would expose your mothership to significant enemy fire. But as you can see, these Marines simply don't have the firepower to punch through that thick Protoss shield.
We proceed.
Since you're only allowed a single mothership, she's usually a very high priority target for the enemy. When you bring your mothership out, you can expect the enemy to throw everything they've got in an attempt to destroy it. The motherships have a limited amount of energy, which controls how often they can use their special abilities. In a real game, this mothership would now be out of energy and very vulnerable to a counterattack, but since this is our demo, we're going to cheat a little bit here and give this mothership some additional energy. This additional energy will allow our mothership to employ her final ability. The mothership can create a black hole, which is extremely dangerous to enemy flyers.
Thy heart of fire. We proceed. Directive confirmed.
The final battle is joined. Now is the time to bring our full strength to bear. Entaro Tassadar, Commander. Carry forth the light of ire.
We've shown you some old units with some new abilities, as well as a great many new Protoss weapons. We'd like to leave you today with a look at a battle between the Protoss and the Terrans. This is the first time anybody outside of Blizzard Entertainment has seen these two races engaged in an epic battle in StarCraft II.
Missile ready. Nuclear launch detected.
You called down the thunder.
These are the Terrans. They're flying their buildings in to set up their base, much as they would in the original StarCraft. Notice the command center here is holding 5 SCVs. This is a special new ability that allows the Terrans to rapidly expand or redeploy on the battlefield. You can see some buildings here that you may recognize. We've got our factory, which allows the Terrans to make a number of powerful vehicle units. We also have our barracks, which the Terrans use to create all of their infantry. You may notice there's some new add-ons attached to these barracks. The first of these add-ons is the Tech Lab. The Terrans use this to purchase high-tech upgrades. The Terrans also have a new add-on called the Reactor, which can be used to give an additional build queue to any building it's attached to. This effectively is doubling the production capacity of this barracks. This new add-on system also allows the Terrans to reconfigure their production on the battlefield. We can lift off this barracks and we can fly this factory into its place.
You want a piece of me, boy?
And once the factory lands, that factory will gain the benefits of that tech lab, enabling you to build a number of high-tech vehicles and purchase vehicle-related upgrades. Base defenses are still very important to the Terrans. We've got our bunkers, which of course will load up with our infantry. In addition, the Terrans have a new base defense. This is the sensor tower, which the Terrans can upgrade into a radar tower. The regular sensor tower detects enemy cloakers. But the radar tower allows Terran players to see enemy units moving in the fog of war. This is a powerful new ability that allows the Terrans to detect approaching enemy attackers and prepare for enemy ambushes. The battlecruiser is back in StarCraft II. Battlecruisers can be upgraded to have their own special, unique mega weapon. Each battlecruiser is upgraded individually. A popular choice is the Yamato cannon, which does significant damage to single enemy targets. Another powerful choice is the plasma array. This is an area effect attack against enemy ground forces. Now, to deal with these battlecruisers, we'll need to bring in our Vikings. This is a new Terran tactical air fighter. It's armed with 2 powerful missiles that it can use to engage enemy capital ships. Viking can also deploy into an assault mode that allows it to move on the ground. You can imagine all of the different ways that you can use this on the battlefield. Of course, you can use it to avoid incoming enemy aircraft fire. But you can also use this special assault mode to make devastating attacks on enemy bases. We're going to fly north now and look for our enemy base. And once we get into position, we're going to take our Vikings and we're going to transform them into their assault mode and continue the battle on the ground. Well, the Viking is a very flexible unit. It does have some drawbacks. It's very vulnerable to counterattack from a dedicated anti-ground unit like these siege tanks. That was simply too much firepower for our Vikings to survive, and we'll be forced to transform into our air mode and move away. To attack these siege tanks, we're going to bring in our new Terran gunship. This is the Banshee. It fires a volley of rockets at enemy ground targets.
We copy. Zerg zone serve. We copy. All over it.
Now these Banshees are vulnerable to this Marine counterattack, so we're going to cloak our Banshees and engage them with our area effect missiles. Fortunately for us, those Marines have clustered up, which is exactly what you don't want to do against the Banshee. Now the enemy has a sensor tower nearby, which is allowing him to detect our Banshees, and those missile turrets are engaging us. Well, the Banshee is very powerful against ground targets. It's just not tough enough to stand up to those missile turrets, and once again, we're forced to retreat. To continue this attack on the enemy base, we're going to bring in our Reapers. This is a unit that you may remember from our original announcement demo. He's got his jump pack, which enables him to traverse this difficult terrain. The Reaper also has a new ability that you haven't seen yet. This is his demolition charge, which he can throw anywhere on the battlefield. The demolition charge takes a short time to go off. But once it explodes, it can do devastating damage to static enemy targets. The Reaper is also very powerful against the enemy's economy. We're going to move our Reapers into position here in this SCV stream and start to destroy the enemy's economy. It looks like the Terran commander is responding by transforming his command center into a planetary fortress. This is a powerful new Terran base defense that our Reapers simply don't have the firepower to deal with.
Falling in.
Like many Terran players, we have bases all over the map. As you can see here, our supply depots are blocking access into our base, preventing the enemy from closing with our siege tanks and allowing us to shell them from range. Inside our fortified position here, we're going to use our SCV to build a new special Terran assault unit. This is the Thor. It's an assault unit so large and so powerful that it's actually built out on the battlefield.
Done deal.
Now, it might appear that we are trapped inside our base. But in StarCraft II, supply depots can be lowered into the ground into a special defensive position that allows our units to path over them. And once we've moved through, we can raise our supply depots back into position to protect our siege tanks.
This better be an emergency. On it. Done deal. Oh, it's on.
Now, you may notice that the Thor has some additional guns on his back. These special artillery attacks can be used against tough targets like this enemy planetary fortress. Like everything in StarCraft II, the Thor does have his weaknesses. This is the Cobra. This is a small, fast Terran hover tank. It can actually fire on the move, and it uses his powerful railguns to batter through the Thor's thick armor. Notice the Thor turns very slowly. That's as fast as the Thor can actually turn. It makes the Thor very vulnerable to this kind of speedy attacker. Now, in order to continue our attack on this enemy base, we're going to need to bring in some specialists. We really couldn't see making StarCraft II without including the Ghost.
I hear that. I'm all over it. I'm here.
The Ghost in StarCraft II is far more powerful than he was in the original StarCraft.
All over it.
In addition to his personal cloaking field, the Ghost can use his sniper rifle to deal lethal damage to enemy biological targets. The Ghost also has access to a number of calldowns. You've already seen our nuclear weapon. Now we'd like to show you the drop pods. This special ability allows the Ghost to summon squads of infantry anywhere he wishes. As you can see, the Terrans have a number of new, powerful units and some classic units with some new abilities. All of these add up into a flexible and powerful side that is more than a match for any of their enemies on the battlefields of StarCraft II.
Rain on me.
We are the Swarm. We burned a path of annihilation across the stars. And then, we vanished. 4 years ago, we faded into the shadows. We thrived. We evolved. Now the time has come for us to step back into the light. Now, worlds will tremble once again. Empires will fall. Alliances will shatter. We are the Swarm. But we are becoming much, much more. For the final metamorphosis has only just begun.